19th of May, Atatürk Remembrance, Youth and Sports Holiday. 23rd of April is the holiday for younger children. 19th of May is its equivalent for older children. İnkılap Tarihi is a major lesson in schools today. Understanding the past is a key to understanding the way people think about themselves today. Let's go back in time to May 1919 now. On the 16th of May 1919, Atatürk boarded the Bandırma ship in Istanbul. Only 3 days later, on 19th of May 1919, Atatürk landed in Samsun on the Black Sea. Almost everything in Samsun today is named Ondokuz Mayıs, from the university to hospitals. But why is it so important? To fully understand this, let's go back 2 years in time. The Ottomans were on the losing side of the First World War. Ceasefire agreement between the Ottomans and the victorious allies, who were not magnanimous in victory. They sought to punish all the losers. Mutros gave them the right to occupy Turkey. So started the Great Scramble for Anatolia. On 13th of November, the French and Greeks entered Thrace as far as Hadimköy. On 14th of November, British ships sailed up the Dardanelles and Marmara into Constantinople, and British troops crossed from Syria into Kilis. December 1918, the French entered Antakya, Mersin, Tarsus, Ceyhan, Adana, and Osmaniye. When Atatürk saw the British ships sail into Constantinople, he famously said, "They will go the way they came." On the 19th of December 1918, the famous first bullet of the resistance was shot against the French by Sergeant Mehmet in Dörtyol, near Antakya. The official peace treaty was signed on the 19th of January 1919 in Paris. This officially divided Anatolia up between the victors. The capitulations were a political agreement, where although the Sultan still ruled in Constantinople, it was a name only, with the British and other nations running the law and the economy. You can still see the British jail, British post office, British law courts, and British hospital in Galata. The tower of the hospital has a commanding view and was used for spying on ship movements. Over the next 4 months, Anatolia was invaded. On April 1919, the British entered Maraş and Urfa. The French took control of the economic powerhouse, coal in Zonguldak and Karadeniz Ereğli. Italians entered Antalya. Greeks overran Trabzon. On May 1919, Greeks landed in Smyrna and reached as far inland as Aydın very quickly. Only central Anatolia remained to the Turks. Atatürk was appointed the Sultan's aide-de-camp to crush the Turks' growing resistance on the 30th of April 1919 and was sent on the Sultan's mission to Samsun. But instead, he set about organizing it. Meeting with key army allies he could rely on, Ali Fuat from Ankara and Kasim Karabekir in Erzurum, he laid his plans. Over the next few months, there was a series of steps in organized resistance. On the 22nd of June 1919, Atatürk and his comrades made the Amasya Declaration, similar in many respects to the US Declaration of Independence. It said, "The unity of the motherland and national independence are in danger. The Istanbul government is unable to carry out its responsibilities. It is only through the nation's effort and determination that national independence will be won. It is necessary to establish a national committee, free from all external influences and control, that will review the national situation and make known to the world the people's desires for justice. It has been decided to hold immediately a national congress in Sivas, the most secure place in Anatolia. 3 representatives from each province should be sent immediately to the Sivas Congress. To be prepared for every eventuality, this subject should be kept a national secret." The Sultan called Atatürk back to Istanbul. he immediately took leave of absence. The Sivas Congress of 4th to 11th September solidified the decision to form a new national people's government in direct revolt against both the Sultan in Istanbul and the invading allies. Following elections, a new session of parliament opened in Istanbul. Atatürk sent a telegram to this parliament on the 12th of January, saying that the Committee of National Resistance in Ankara was the legitimate ruler of the country. The British reaction to support the Sultan was that they occupied buildings of suspected nationalists in Istanbul and made many arrests. On the 23rd of April 1920, the nationalists opened their rival parliament in Ankara, the Grand National Assembly. From this date on, Anatolia was de facto run by Atatürk and the nationalists from Ankara. The Sheikh ul Islam issued a fatwa, which is a death sentence, on the nationalists, calling them infidels, as they refused to accept the authority of the Sultan. The Eastern Front was the first arena of the War of Independence. The French gave Cilicia to the Armenians, and the Russians said Van and Bitlis should be Armenian too. Qasim Karabekir led the nationalist revolt against this, and in December 1920, the Treaty of Alexandropol recognized Eastern Anatolia as Turkish. As a result of the Sykes-Picot Agreement, the British pulled out of southeastern Turkey and let the French have it instead. Battles in this area between the Turks and the French, aided by the Armenians, were fierce. Maraş earned the name Kahramanmaraş, heroic Maraş for its defense. Urfa earned the name Şanlı Urfa, which means glorious Urfa. Antep earned the name Gaziantep, which means war hero Antep, and it was besieged for 6 months. The French defeat and evacuation took 2 years total. All this time the Greeks were in western Turkey, as far as Afyon, Uşak, and Eskişehir. In the summer of 1922, the tables began to be turned. The big push to the sea began, and there were decisive victories around Afyon on the 30th of August 1922. The Turkish War of Independence was finally over, but the Sultan was still in Istanbul, and so were the British and other allies. On the 1st of November 1922, Atatürk's de facto government abolished the Sultan. On the 17th of November, he slipped away from Istanbul on a British battleship. The old Treaty of Sevres had been overturned by the Turkish victory, so a new treaty was needed to recognize the new government formally and to agree Turkey's borders. This would be the Lausanne Treaty of 1923. It took a few more months before the British finally left. On the 29th of October 1923, nearly 4.5 years after Atatürk landed at Samsun to start the process, Turkey was proclaimed a republic. Is this all just history? And does it matter today at all? Although there is no one living who fought in the War of Independence since the last veteran died in 2008, everyone remembers stories told by their grandparents and great-grandparents. It is taught in great detail in school history lessons. The memory of foreign invasion affects the way Turks look at international politics and the statements made by foreign countries. Nationalist parties such as the MHP operate with this worldview. Slogans such as "Turkey for the Turks" or "The nation is an indivisible whole" are still common. Ultra-nationalist politics is still strong in some parts of Turkey, such as Trabzon and Mersin. A Mersin tourism brochure describing the Karboze monument in English says, "The horrendous evil invaders were routed and got what they deserved in the pass at Karboze." Also, a priest was killed in Trabzon, and the killer of Hrant Dink was from there too. Most cities and towns in Turkey have their Kurtuluş Günü, which is the Liberation Day and the anniversary of the day the foreigners were evacuated from that town, and it became wholly Turkish. And all of this because a leader landed in Samsun on 19th of May in 1919.